What's going on, guys? If you haven't heard, Seth Jones has come out and said he will not be re-signing the Columbus Blue Jackets next year. He's got one season left on his contract, so basically that leaves Columbus in a pretty tough spot, and because of that they said if they can't sign him, then they're going to trade him this summer. So in game here, I want to see what the other NHL teams would be willing to offer up for Seth Jones. Seth Jones is definitely a very kind of weird player to judge in terms of trade value. Some people love him, thinks he's a top 10 defenseman. Other people, specifically a lot of people in the analytics community, think he's a very average defenseman, maybe even below average. So personally, I'm a big fan of the analytics, but I do think Seth Jones is above average defenseman. When I see him play, he looks better than average to me. So we'll see what the NHL team is willing to give up for him here. In game, you can see after simming a year, he's 26 years old, 88 overall, making $5.4 million for one more year. We're at the draft right now, so they're actually going to show an extra year. He actually starts out at 87, but he did go up one overall during the first year sim. So I'll show you guys all the stats here. Again, 26, 88, roll top 4 defenseman, immediately potential. So have 1 year left to grow. 4th overall pick back in 2013, 2-way defenseman there. You can see his stats. Like, he's very solid defenseman, of course, involved in that big trade. Johansson for Jones. I still think Columbus definitely won that one. He actually has the highest trade value on the Blue Jackets. At the start of the season, though, he was below both Laine and Werenski. So probably he's actually higher than Laine. He was a 90 overall now after the first year sim. Only 23. I feel like Laine should be the highest, but whatever. Now, like I mentioned, guys, I'm actually going to use the find trade feature for this video, which I almost never get to use, as I'd like to do stuff with like McDavid, Matthews, Crosby, using find trade, and it never works. It's like they have too much value. No team bothers making you an offer, which doesn't make sense. Like, they should at least make you their best offer. But regardless, with Seth Jones, 1 year left at $5.5 million, very, affordable cap. We should get some things here, especially at the draft. A lot of teams have cap space. So 8 offers here. First one's a big one, Jonathan Toews. We'll look at that. I think we're probably going to have to keep doing it because, of course, the draft, there is a timer. What I'm thinking is I'm actually going to reject all these, and then we'll actually see if we get any new offers once free agency hits. So Jonathan Toews, of course, sat out this year with an injury. Chicago still looked okay without him. They're also missing Kirby Dach for like 3/4 of the season. I mean, you trade him for Jones. I think Chicago could use defense more than offense. Now, would they ever do this trade? I don't think so. They're not going to trade the captain, but this would be very interesting for sure. I mean, you save money trading Toews. You get younger getting Jones. You help out the D. Dach becomes like your first line center, probably Dylan Strome your second line center. Again, Toews is making 10.5 for 2 more years. I don't think Jones will be making that even after you re-sign him. So, although I never think Chicago would trade Toews, I feel like this would actually be a really good trade for them. Columbus even, they need a first line center. The thing is though, they're going to be going into rebuild, so it doesn't really make sense for them to get an older veteran like Jonathan Toews. And the next offer here, guys, is a big one from the Avalanche. Alex Newhook, a first round pick in this year's draft, 25th overall, and a 3rd round pick. So Alex Newhook is actually one of my created players. In this game, I think I'm pretty reasonable with what his rating is. Well, he's 75 now. I think I started him out at a 73, maybe 72, so he grew a little bit. High top 6 potential. He tore up the AHL. He always does so well because he's a created player. Takes a lot of shots. You can see 40 goals, 24 assists, his first year in the AHL. Not too bad at all. And his shot's not even really that great. Like, he's a pretty good skater, pretty good hands. Of course, he's on the Avalanche right now. Joined them at the end of the year. I don't think he's getting the most ice time or whatever in the playoffs, but still going to be another big piece for them of the future. Like, it's just crazy how good and young that core is on the Avalanche. And I have him as the favorite to win the Stanley Cup this year. So, if I'm the Blue Jackets, Alex Newhook, a 1st round pick and a 3rd round pick. I mean, 25th overall, 2021. Probably going to get a decent player. The 3rd is obviously, wild card. That's not a bad return at all. Like, I think the Avalanche wouldn't do this for Jones, as I believe they're actually going to be pretty tight against the cap after this season. So I feel like they'd probably rather a guy like Newhook making entry level opposed to Jones making 5.4. But if I'm the Blue Jackets, probably say yes to that. The next one here, guys, from the Florida Panthers, offering us a 1st round pick, 19th overall, Saron Noel, and a 2nd round pick. So a slightly worse prospect there in Noel, at least in game. Real life, I think, Newhook's much better. But they do give us a 2nd round pick opposed to a 3rd to make up for that. As well, their 1st round pick, they're a bit higher than the Avalanche. Noel in game, 70 overall there, medium top 6. He's a big dude, 6'5", so maybe he can be like the next Josh Anderson for the Blue Jackets, but I still think I like the Avalanche one with Newhook a little bit better. And now real quick here, guys, I'm actually skipping forward a few trades as the Winnipeg Jets are offering us their 6th overall pick in this draft, and we're at the 6th pick along with a 2nd rounder. In real life, I have Detroit taking Kent Johnson 6th overall. I mean, would you pass on Kent Johnson, potentially Simon Edvinsson? Brant Clark might still be there. Jesper Wallstedt. I think Columbus doesn't need a goalie. Dylan Gunther could still be there. Tons of good options, really. So a 6th overall pick, that's a big pick. With a 2nd rounder for Seth Jones, if I'm the Blue Jackets, I mean, they're also picking 5th, so they could actually go back-to-back. I don't really know if there's anyone that's like a sick combo, because Beniers and Power are probably gone, Hughes is probably gone. I'm not really sure if we could get like a Michigan duo or anything, but 6th overall and a 2nd for Jones. If I'm the Blue Jackets, that's another one I'd probably say yes to. Now, do I like the 6th overall and a 2nd better than Newhook, a 1st and a 3rd? That's a tough one. And look at this, guys. As it turns out, Brandt Clarke went 6th overall to Winnipeg Jets, so that'd be a pretty good return, I think, for Seth Jones. Clarke could just be like the new Seth Jones for them. Plus, I think they're getting a 2nd round pick on top of that. And in real life, they have the 5th overall pick. I don't think Matthew Beniers will still be there, but if he is, that'd be an amazing draft for the Blue Jackets. Not to mention the fact they still have 2 more 1st round picks later in the draft. So that'd be pretty amazing. 4 1st round picks in total. You can see Hughes there went 7th to the Devils, which is pretty cool. I have him going 4th to the Devils real life. Johnson there went 4, Power went 3, 2 made-up guys went 1 and 2. Definitely cool to see how the draft goes down in-game. Now next year, guys, Florida actually makes us another offer. Anton Lundell, a 2nd round pick, and Chris Driedger. Now, I don't really think the Blue Jackets need a goalie, although I've heard rumors that they might trade one of Merzlikins or Korpisalo, especially if they're rebuilding. They can probably get a pretty good return for one of those guys. A team like Edmonton, say, who needs a decent starting goalie, especially one that's younger. If they do that, Driedger might help out as a backup or tandem with the one they don't trade. 2nd rounder there, Lundell, of course. I think he was a 10th overall pick, or sorry, 12th overall pick last year. Not the best skater, but very good player. I thought he looked pretty good at the World Juniors. So Lundell for Jones, another good offer. Is Lundell better than Newhook? That is a tough one. That's such a tough call. I think you gotta look at your scouts, you know, and ask them, like, who would you rather have if both offers are on the table. Also, would you rather have the 6th overall pick in Brandt Clarke? Seeing the fact Clarke was available in real life, I'm not sure who they take 5th. Like, let's say somehow they do take Beniers 5th. Clarke's available at 6th. I'd probably take the 6th overall pick and get Brandt Clarke, especially that way you have your defenseman and you got a first-line center of the future in Matthew Beniers. But if that's not the case, Lundell or Newhook, again, that's like a 50-50. I feel like both those offers are pretty equal, and in both cases, I would accept if I was the Blue Jackets. Now check out this next trade offer here, guys. Montreal Canadiens offering us the 15th overall pick in this draft, 2nd rounder, as well as Alexander Romanov. So this is another one. How good do you think Romanov's going to be? Do you think his ceiling's higher than Brandt Clarke? Like, if we're looking at kind of all the offers on the table, I think Clarke is a better prospect than Romanov. Probably has a higher ceiling. I mean, he's going to go top 5 probably. Romanov was a 2nd round pick. Is Russian, so if he wasn't, he probably is a 1st rounder. You also get the 15th overall pick. 15th overall, you could get, say, Carson Lambos, another defenseman. You could maybe get Aatu Räty if he's still there. You could get somebody that slips, say, like Cole Sillinger. That's not bad at all with Romanov in a 2nd. Honestly, some really good offers here. If I was Kekalainen and I saw all these, like, it'd be tough to decide, you know, which one is really the best. But depending who's there at 15, like, that could be a really good trade. Now, this next trade offer, guys, is very interesting. Vegas is offering us their 1st round pick, which is actually 13th overall, so they didn't make the playoffs in the sim, and Marc-Andre Fleury. I feel like this is a very good trade for the Vegas Golden Knights, not so much the Blue Jackets. Obviously, like I mentioned, in goal, we already have both Korpisalo and Merzlikins. They're younger, they're 27, they're a solid tandem. We don't need Marc-Andre Fleury, especially at an extra, you know, $1.5 million. I believe in real life his salary is actually $7 million, so be an extra 1.6. 13th overall, though, is definitely a nice pick. The thing is, though, it's not as nice as Winnipeg. 6th overall, plus you're getting a 2nd rounder, which is going to help you out more than Fleury, who's a good goalie, but he's an older goalie. You already have, you know, 2 solid goalies. You saw last year. As long as one thing gets hot in the playoffs, you're fine. So I think this is another one where I probably reject. This is kind of funny, guys. After taking Clarke 6th overall, the Jets are still offering him to us with a 2nd round pick. So, you know, if we couldn't make a decision, they go up to the podium, they draft him. We still have a chance to actually make that trade. So I would, like I said, definitely make that one. And the final trade here, Winnipeg Jets again, Christian Vesalainen here, and a 2nd rounder. So in-game, Vesalainen is a very good prospect. You might have saw there. Medium potential after the 1st year. Same, he's only 76. I've seen him grow a lot more than that before. Real life, he should probably be like a medium top 6. So take that into consideration. Because of that, Vesalainen in a 2nd. We've definitely got a lot better offers. I'd be rejecting this one. So I do want to just kind of quickly recap all the offers we got, which ones I'd reject, which ones I'd accept, and then I guess pick the best one. So Taves we're rejecting, too old essentially. Newhook we're accepting. Noel we're rejecting because the Lundell one is just better from the same team. Romanov we're accepting, Fleury rejecting, Clarke we're accepting, and Vesalainen we're rejecting. So the ones we're accepting, I think there's 4. Clarke there, Romanov, Lundell, and Alex Newhook. Which one would I take if I was the GM of the Blue Jackets? Could only pick one. I really like Newhook, but you're only getting a 25th with him. Lundell's awesome. 2nd, Driedger, that gives you options to trade in goalie. Romanov, it's a solid defenseman already. Plug in for Jones, plus the 15th. I think that one's heavily reliant on who's available at 15. Clarke there, 6th overall pick, plus a 2nd. Honestly, guys, I'm like thinking it over. I think the trade is the Montreal trade. Like I mentioned, Clark's definitely the better prospect, but is he so much better? It's worth missing out on the 15th overall pick. And then they're both giving you second rounders. Montreal's 46, Winnipeg 35. Like I said, you could potentially get Cole Sillinger, Otto Ratu, Carson Lambos, maybe even like a Chaz Lucius or Fabian Lysell drops that 15th spot. Maybe even somebody better, like for some reason, Edvinson's still there, Dylan Guenther's still there, Wallstedt's still there, Montreal gets their goalie of the future after Carey Price. I think that, combined with Romanov, and then again, you get a second round pick, maybe you hit on that. I feel like the Montreal trade there is probably the one I accept, but like I said, Clark, Newhook, and Lundell are all very, very close. Now, it's a start free agency here, guys, so I just wanted to check and see if there's any new offers we might get. Obviously, after teams sign their guys, they might have more money available, less money available. Figured we'd see what's out there. Taze is still offered to us. Simon Edvinsson, a second round pick from the Golden Knights. So, basically, if you're the Blue Jackets, you can decide who do you like better, Clark or Edvinsson, and you can go with that. Although, again, in my mind, I'm already taking the Montreal offer at the draft, Romanov 15th and a second. I should have looked to see who is still available at 15. I should actually go and check that right now, see who we could have taken. All right, guys, looking for the 15th overall pick. I see Lambos got taken 14. In-game, very good prospect. 68 overall there, medium elite. So if it was a medium elite taking 15th, then for sure the Montreal offer was the best one. I'm so dumb, guys. I just realized if Montreal's offering us the 15th overall pick, the player taking 15th beyond Montreal, and look at this. They actually got this Morozov defenseman. Made up guy, but very good. 18 years old there, 72 overall, medium elite. He's a better prospect at the draft than Owen Bauer, which is why I'm not a huge fan of the created ones, but 15th overall pick, very good skater, minus the acceleration. Terrible shot, but good defensive stats, decent hands there, minus puck control and deking, another one of those kind of weird prospects, but him, plus a second round pick, which I think was this Wilm guy here, 62 overall, medium top 4, second round pick 2021. That'd be a pretty nasty return for Jones, especially since the guy Montreal took 15th overall was actually a better prospect than both Edvinsson and Clark in game. Real life, though, it's definitely a question of quantity over quality. Do you think Clark and Edvinsson are worth more than Romanov and a player available at 15th? I personally, it's tough for me. I think it's like a weaker draft. I think you're probably still getting a really good player at 15 with Romanov. Again, in conclusion, I like the Montreal trade best, but definitely some very cool trade offers there. Let me know in the comment section below who you think Seth Jones is going to get traded for. And as always, guys, hopefully enjoyed this one. If you did, leave that thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit the sub button. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a nice day. Goodbye.